Good morning, everybody. So let's start the day 2, session 3 on our faculty development program on outcome-based education, teaching, learning, and evaluation. Before we start this session, I just want to request all the online and offline participants to complete your quiz, yesterday's quiz, and the minimum qualification mark is 50%. So whoever not taken the quiz, kindly take it by before afternoon and we'll close it. And every day we will be having a session. Excuse me. Madam, connect ayyar kada madam? Mute. Can you hear it, madam, now? Sir, ఒకరు లాగిన్ అవ్వండి సార్, మన వాళ్ళు లాగిన్ అయితే తెలుస్తుంది. Okay, 1 minute, madam. Okay, okay. Okay. Sir, co-host mute లో ఉన్నారంట, unmute చేయండి. Can you hear it? Sir, mute అని unmute చేయండి. రెడ్ కనపడుతుందట మేడం. Can you hear it, madam, now? Okay, madam. Shall I proceed, madam? Okay, madam. Okay, madam. Sorry for the disturbance, and I welcome once again all of you for this second day FDP program, and I request all the participants to take the quiz, both online and offline participants, to complete it by today afternoon, and we shall start today's third session. We have with us today for the session Dr. J.V. Satya Vani Madam Garu, Professor Dean of Dravidian University, with us to brief about the philosophy of need of OBE, which is need of the hour. And I welcome Dr. A. Sesikala Madam Garu onto the dais to chair this session, and also Dr. LMD Muhammad Bakshu sir to come onto the dais to act as rapporteur for this session. I request the chairperson of this session to continue the proceedings. Welcome, madam.
Respected dignitaries of the program, my learned colleagues, and the delegates attending offline and online, good morning and welcome to all. I feel immense pleasure in introducing our today's speaker, Dr. J.V. Satya Vani, Professor and Dean, School of Education, Human Resource Development, Dravidian University, Kuppam. Before that, she worked as an associate editor for Encyclopedia of Telugu Literature from 1994 to 2001. And she acted as senior sub-editor, Andhra Prachurana Private Limited from 2001 to 2002. As a teaching cum research assistant, University of Chennai from 2002 to 2004. And she worked as PG assistant in Government Higher Secondary School, Tiruvallur from 2004 to 5. She worked as contract lecturer in Dravidian University from 2005, July 2005 to December 2005. And she worked as assistant professor, Department of Telugu Language and TS, Dravidian University from 2005 to 2008, and later as Associate Professor, Department of Language Teaching Technology since May 2008. And she participated in more than 40 seminars and presented papers in those seminars. And after that, she conducted a workshop on Telugu Tamil translations, Dravidian University in 2007. She also conducted a workshop on necessity of teaching traditional grammar in the year 2011. She conducted a seminar on Vaishnavite literature in major Dravidian languages in collaboration with the TTD in the year 2008. And her articles published in more than 6 international journals and more than 25 national journals. She has written more than 20 books in Telugu and Tamil, of which there are many dictionaries and grammar books. Some of her books are మీ పిల్లలకి స్ఫూర్తినివ్వండి ప్రపంచాన్ని చైతన్యం చేయండి మౌనంతో రహస్యం బాధలెందుకు తెలుగులో ప్రక్రియ వైవిధ్యం. So these are some of her books written by her, and the books edited by her were Pratapa Modaliyar Charitra, Telugu Sahityamlo Mandalika Prayogam, Ananda Lahari. These are the books edited by her. And from her college days onwards, she has got so many awards and medals. She got a gold medal both in graduation and post graduation. She was awarded as best student in the year 1981 in QMC Chennai, Kala Sagar Award for best orator in the year 1981, university ranks along with the Vice Chancellor's Prize in the year 81 and 83, Maharaja Bobili Prize in the year 81 and 83, Srimati Sharada Prize in 81 and 83. She also delivered All India radio talks more than 20 on Telugu language and literature. And she knows to speak 5 languages: Telugu, Tamil, English, Hindi, Malayalam. And there are so many projects under her, like a bilingual dictionary of prepositions, English, Telugu, Common Core Dictionary of Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, Tulu, and English, General in Major Dravidian Languages, which is a major research project, editing of Shankar Narayana's English Telugu Dictionary for a reprint by Asian Educational Society, and she also engaged in translation of Tamil material into Telugu for South Indian Folklore Encyclopedia. So these are the different projects under her. And she is a resource person for National Translation Mission and a life member in Telugu Linguistic Forum. She is also a life member in journals like Nadustunna Charitra, Chinuku, Misimi, Bhavaveena. In addition to all these, she is also acting as a coordinator and active member of various institutional committees in Dravidian University. So with this brief introduction, ma'am, I welcome you onto this platform. Welcome you, ma'am. There is a problem in connecting with resource persons, so please kindly wait for a while.
Madam, can you hear my voice?
Hello?
సార్ సత్యవాణి మ్యామ్ ని ప్రెజెంటర్ గా చేశాము సార్.
Hello?
இல்ல இல்ல சர்ப்ரைசிங்லி லேப்டாப்ல போகவே இல்லை, ஜூஹி சாவ்லாலே ஓடிட்டு இருக்கு. கனெக்டட் வித்தவுட் இன்டர்நெட்.
Not audible.
నిన్న ఈ క్విజ్ చేయమన్నారు మేడము, క్విజ్ చేసాము. దీంట్లో చూడండి, ఇక్కడ ఇది టెస్ట్ మోజ్ అనేది రీసెంట్గా ఒక ఆన్లైన్ ఆర్పిట్ కోర్సులో అది చూశాను. ఆన్లైన్ ఆర్పిట్ కోర్సులో అది చూసాము. దాని ప్రాక్టీస్ కోసం అని చెప్పేసి నేను టెస్ట్ మోజ్లో క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ ప్రిపేర్ చేశాను. ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఇక్కడ ఈ 10 క్వశ్చన్లు కూడా 10 క్వశ్చన్లు ఇచ్చాము. వాటిల్లో మల్టిపుల్ ఆల్టర్నేటివ్ ఆన్సర్స్ ఉండేటి క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇచ్చాను. ట్రూ ఆర్ ఫాల్స్ ఆన్సర్స్ ఉండేటి ఇచ్చాము. మ్యాచ్ ది ఫాలోయింగ్, ఇట్లా 3 రకాలైన క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇచ్చాము అన్నమాట. అక్కడ కొంతమంది ఏం చేశారంటే ఈ మల్టిపుల్ ఆన్సర్స్ ఉండేటప్పుడు ఏదో 1-2 ఆప్షన్స్ గుర్తుపెట్టేసి ఆడికి వదిలిపెట్టారు. ఆ తర్వాత మ్యాచ్ ది ఫాలోయింగ్ కూడా మనకి ఇక్కడ బ్లూమ్స్ టాక్సానమీలో 1956 మోడల్లో మనకు 6 కాగ్నిటివ్ కాంపోనెంట్స్ ఉంటే, ఆ 2001కి వచ్చేసరికి అదే 6 కాంపోనెంట్స్ కొద్దిగా చేంజ్ అయినాయి. అక్కడ అప్లై ఉంటే ఇక్కడ అప్లయింగ్ అన్నారు. కాబట్టి 1956ని 2001తో కంపేర్ చేయమని చెప్పి దాన్ని మ్యాచ్ చేయమని చెప్పి ఇచ్చాం. చాలా మందికి, నాకు కూడా అది కొద్దిగా కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయ్యాను నేను. మీరు ఇక మీదట క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు కొంచెం జాగ్రత్తగా చూడండి. చెక్ బాక్సెస్ ఉన్నాయంటే దానికి మోర్ దాన్ 1 ఆప్షన్ ఆన్సర్గా ఉంటుంది అనుకొని మీరు 2-3 ఆన్సర్స్ గుర్తుపెట్టండి. ఒకే ఆన్సర్ ఉంటే మాత్రము అది ఒకటే తీసుకుంటుంది. 2 టిక్కులు తీసుకునిందంటే మల్టిపుల్ ఆన్సర్స్ ఉన్నట్టుగా దానికి అర్థం అనమాట. కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ మనం 3 టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇవి చేశాను. ఇక్కడ బేసిక్ అవేర్నెస్. ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఇక్కడ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అవుట్కమ్ బేస్డ్ లెర్నింగ్ అంటే మనం ఏం నేర్చుకుంటున్నామో దాని అవుట్కమ్ ఏమీ లేదన్నమాట. అట్లా మనం విన్న దాని గురించి అవుట్కమ్ బేస్డ్ గానే ఇవి తయారు చేసుకొచ్చాను. ఇప్పుడు ఆన్లైన్ లెర్నర్స్ ఉంటారు, వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారంటే ఆన్ చేసి పెట్టేసి మళ్ళీ 1 అవర్ తర్వాత 2 అవర్స్ తర్వాత లేదా తర్వాత సాయంత్రం చూసుకుంటారు. అందుకోసమని ఆ ఫస్ట్ సెషన్ తీసుకున్న ఆయన పేరు ఏమి, పేరన్నా గుర్తుందా లేదా అనుకొని ఆ జయశంకర్ రెడ్డి అనేది పెట్టామన్నమాట. కొన్ని మీకు మరీ సులభంగా అనిపిస్తాయి, కానీ కొంతమంది ఆన్లైన్ లెర్నర్స్ అంతా, నేను కూడా ఆ పనే చేశాను కాబట్టి మనకు ఆ పేరన్నా గుర్తుందా లేదా, ఆనందరెడ్డి, రాజారెడ్డి, ఆ జయశంకర్ రెడ్డి, ఇట్లా అందరు రెడ్లు ఉన్నారు, ఇక్కడ ఎవరు ఏ రెడ్డి ఆ చెప్పాడు అనేది మనకు గుర్తుండే దానికోసమని ఆ జయశంకర్ రెడ్డి పేరు పెట్టాము. తర్వాత ఈ ఓబీఈ అంటే బేసిక్ గా మనము ఓపెన్ అవుట్కమ్ బేస్డ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఉంది కదా, కొంతమంది ఏం చేస్తారంటే ఆన్లైన్లో ఓబీఏ కొడతారు, ఫుల్ ఫామ్ ఆఫ్ ఓబీఏ అని కొడతారు. నేను కూడా ఓబీఏ కొట్టాను. ఓబీఏకి ఏమొచ్చిందంటే నాకు ఆర్డర్ ఆఫ్ బ్రిటిష్ ఎంపైర్ అనేది వచ్చింది. అంటే ఎడ్యుకేషన్లో మాత్రమే అది అవుట్కమ్ బేస్డ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అనేది వస్తుంది. కాబట్టి జనరల్గా అందరూ ఏం చేస్తారంటే ఆ సెషన్ వినకుండా, లేదంటే ఆ మెటీరియల్ చదవకుండా, ఆ వీడియోలు చూడకుండా, నెట్ ఉంది కాబట్టి గూగుల్లో ఆ క్వశ్చన్ యాజ్ ఇట్ ఈజ్ టైప్ చేస్తారు, ఆ ఆన్సర్ని అట్లే పెడతారన్నమాట. కాబట్టి దానికోసమని అవుట్కమ్ బేస్డ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అనేది ఆ సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ అనేది ఓపెన్ అవుట్కమ్ బేస్డ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ గా పెట్టాను నేను. తర్వాత ఈ ట్రెడిషనల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టంలో మనకు
సార్ వన్ కైండ్ రిక్వెస్ట్ టు క్విజ్ మాస్టర్ సార్, ఇంకా మనము క్విజ్ టైం ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ వరకు ఉంది కాబట్టి దయచేసి డోంట్ రివీల్ ద ఆన్సర్ సార్. లెట్స్ టెస్ట్ అవర్ సెల్స్ వెదర్ వీ హ్యావ్ అచీవ్డ్ ద ఎగ్జిట్.
learners, online participants, please post your queries or responses by your name only. Register through your name. So we need to identify all the relevant options for that question only. Next, the need for outcome-based learning, he given in the PPT is several options. Why OBE? So in that, from that, two options selected and one question is constructed on that. What is the need for outcome-based learning? Next one is, there are components of OBE. The different components of OBE, there are several components. This question also contains multiple answers. Next, the outcomes are in the evening, in the afternoon session, Bhuvaneswari madam is telling about the outcomes of learning. From that concept, one question is constructed. Here, generally, lot of words that we are using are Latin words. But this taxonomy comes from a different background. So basing on that, one question was constructed. Here, this is the basic question. Taxonomy is. In the conclusion also, Behra sir said that taxonomy is science of arrangement. So the match the cognitive domain from 1956 to revised domain is the confusion question. Okay, we need to select the relevant, match the following questions. Okay, madam is continuous. The resource person is ready to start the session. Thank you.
నాకు ఎగ్జామ్ వేరే అది మధ్యాహ్నం రాయాలా లేకపోతే మీరు ఆఫ్లైన్ మేము ఆన్లైన్
Dear participants, dear participants, dear participants, good morning. I am Dr. S.V. Ramesh Kumar. I'm very sorry because due to some technical problem, the session is delayed. But in the meanwhile, let us watch an inspirational video. It is about Sundar Pichai, an Indian American business executive and also CEO of Google. So after 26 years, he visited his math teacher and he loved her so much. Let us try to understand why students love their teacher so much. Let us watch this video. I request to play the video.
హలో 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 నేను కనిపిస్తున్నానండి.
ఎస్ మేడం, కనపడుతున్నారు మ్యామ్.
వినిపిస్తున్నానా?
ఎస్ మ్యామ్, వాయిస్ క్లారిటీగానే ఉంది మ్యామ్.
వాయిస్ క్లారిటీ ఉందా అండి?
మేడం వాయిస్ క్లారిటీ ఉంది మేడం.
ఉందా అండి?
ఉంది మేడం.
ఇది
Shall we start the session, madam? We are just playing an inspiration video.
Oh, check the video also.
Okay, thank you, sir. So now my question to the participants. So I need response from the participants. Why Moli teacher is so special for Sundar Pichai? Why that teacher, Moli teacher is so special for Sundar Pichai? The same thing happens in the life of all of us because we are all teachers. The same rule applies for all the teachers. Why she loved her so much? Again and again, he is telling the same thing. She is compassionate. She is so kind towards the children. She loved her profession. She loved children. And if you carefully observe the video, he never told about her talent. He never told about her, the way she teaches. There are other teachers also in that school. And he also mentioned the other teacher also, who was very strict, always telling the rules, but she is also good at teaching. That means we have to understand one thing. Students love the teacher who is soft-natured, who is kind towards the children, and who encourages the children. Because children are there to learn. They are always comparing with the teacher's knowledge. They may be lagging behind. But being teachers, we have to encourage them. We have to be kind towards the children. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Hello. Hello.
Madam, చెప్పండి
Yes,
మేడం.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Audible,
Ma'am,
madam.
am
You
I
can
audible
speak.
to you, ma'am?
Yes,
Am
ma'am.
I
Audible.
audible to you, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Audible. You can speak out.
You can connect. I will start my lecture then.
Okay, okay, madam.
Yeah. Ask Sujana ma'am to announce. I'll start. Single screen.
Sorry for the delay, dear participant. Now our resource person speaker is ready to deliver the lecture.
Shall I start, ma'am?
Now I welcome Dr. J.V. Satya Vani, Professor and Dean, School of Education and Human Resource Development, Dravidian University, Kuppam, to deliver a talk on philosophy of outcome-based education, need of the hour. I welcome you, madam. Please continue this session. Thank you, madam.
A bright morning to all of you. And I'm sorry for the delay. There was a problem in the connection. And anyway, I'm happy to be amongst you for this session. And before starting the actual question, I have a small question for audience. Mainly, I would like to have here one or two answers from audience as such. What is education? What is education? Can I have an answer from the audience, please? Preferably from students. Preferably from scholars or students. What is education?
Getting knowledge from unknown things.
Very good. Getting knowledge from unknown things. Is it okay, fine. Very good answer. I don't know who the...
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't know who gave the answer, but I appreciate your...
I am Sabita, research scholar from Virudhunagar, Tamil Nadu.
Very good, Sabita. Congratulations. And
Thank you, ma'am.
since the times known to us, the mankind, be it east or west, north or south, mankind wanted to attain knowledge, gain knowledge. There was a thirst for knowledge. This knowledge thirst is known as education. The thirst of knowledge is education, none other than anything. So in this way, there were many types of education that were unfolded in course of time for the knowledge seekers. The knowledge seeker may vary from one to the other. One might have an interest in philosophy, the other might have in physics, the other might have in metaphysics or something. Somebody may like to know about nanotechnology, and somebody might have interest in knowing what about a small creature in the world, which is the smallest creature in the world. So seeking anything, seeking knowledge of anything is education. So this education, which started, and when did it start? Actually, you have no idea. Now, the questioning of knowledge started with 5 W's, as we all know: what, why, when, where, who. After these 5 questions, there is another question: how. See, the shift of W has gone into the end. That means there your quest for knowledge ends. When you know all this, you are at it. So this way, the thirst for knowledge started. And when the thirst for knowledge started in human race, the education system started developing slowly. The earliest education system that we have an idea is the Gurukula mode of education, where the whole center was on the teacher. He was even known as preacher. He used that the system of education was centered through a guru. A guru, as far as Sanskrit, is a word from Sanskrit, which means one who removes your unknownness. Or, to put it in other words, one who takes you to in the path of light of knowledge. So this system, the educational system, started from Gurukula mode. It went on and on and on. People started learning things of their own interest. People started using things of their own interest. And now Miss Sabita has answered. I have a question for Sabita. Sabita, have you heard of a Tamil song where ஏன் என்ற கேள்வி இல்லாமல் வாழ்க்கை இல்லை? Have you heard of that song? Yeah, dear students, this means if you don't question why.
I hear that Shivaji's songs. Sorry, MGR song.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who the hero is, the question matters for me. The question is, if you don't question why or how, your life does not exist. It means that if you want your life to exist, you should be able to question it. You should be able to question it. Only then your life can exist. This is how it goes. And when the education was based on the teacher, I think I can mix up Telugu now and then, because most of them would be understanding Telugu, or I can even render the meaning in English later. See, there is this very small verse which I would like to quote for you. Chaki kokaludiki chikaku paladesi mahila tisi lessa madichina buddhi cheppuvadu buddhi tenemaya viswadaviyama vilarave. You put your clothes to a washerman. What does he do? He rubs them on stones to clean the dirt, and then irons them with hot iron, and then he gives you finest mode of clothes that you can wear. In that case, why should we blame a washman who is heating your clothes on the rock in the same manner? If somebody is teaching you knowledge, what if he beats you so that you can learn it better? Is the meaning of the poem. Not that I'm going to beat you up now. No way. I know at present world, if I beat you up, you can sue me in the court. So letting it away, the earlier Gurukula system had this kind of knowledge-seeking system. They used to have a teacher-centered education. Slowly, it started changing. How did it change? It changed into marks earning system. The education all over India, let us say, the Indian educational system has taken a paradigm shift to orientation of marks, class, your rank, only that matters. Why are you studying? To get a job. The part of knowledge is missing. So what has happened in course of time? People started, the pupil who had to be a pupil has become a pupil. What happened then? the centered eyeball who is a student has become one of many and one among many. So here, the educational system which has been changing in due course, it started giving pressure to the students because the high you score, the high you get. You have to stand 1, 2, and 3 in a university. You have to get 100 marks out of 100 marks. So the pressure is like the boiling pressure cooker. Every student has started taking pressure. Just imagine such a pressure on a student. Will the student have any thirst towards his knowledge? Will he develop himself? Letting a few people, like say some 10 to 15% of the urban students, the whole other students are not conversant. I don't mean to say in English alone. I mean to say in any language for that matter, because basically I'm a language teacher. So I know that they are not able to converse freely even in their mother tongue. If you ask a student to stand up on any guide, and ask him to speak about your interested subject, anything you like, even a movie, 5 continuous minutes in your language, in the language you choose, but do not make it bilingual. They are unable to do it. So, what is the need of the present day situation? The present day, present need, present situation. The student has to not just reproduce what he has learned. That is what is happening since few years, since few decades, say 2-3 decades. The student is just reproducing whatever he has learned, but he's not able to do anything on his own. This is the need of the hour. The student should be able to do on his own. The student should be able to present on his own, not just reproduce. He should be able to produce. He should be able to speak out in either the form of speech or in the form of writing. He must be able to express himself, his own ideas, his own abilities, his own creation. Why this is not happening? Most of the students reproduce. Say 90% of the students in the present situation are reproducing. They are not writing on their own. They depend upon guides. They depend upon the teachers' notes or something. They are not doing it on their own. There are very few in number whom you can count on your fingers who are doing on own. So the present situation demands, the present day life in the world demands that one should be able to deliver his goods on his own. So in such place, what you have to do? There, this outcome-based education steps in. What actually do you mean by outcome-based education as such? Outcome-based education is a model of education that rejects the traditional focus what the school provides to the students in favor of making students demonstrate that they know or are able to do whatever the required outcomes are. The outcome-based education reforms emphasize setting clear standards for observable, measurable outcomes. So that's what I mean to say. Take any subject of your interest, but you should be able to do it on your own, or able to present it on your own, be it orally, be it in written form. It should be your outcome, the student's outcome. not the outcome which was taught or produced by the teacher, by the textbook, or by the guide. Not that. Not that now. So allow the student to give him a path where he has to walk on, where he has to go in search of the knowledge. Set him such a path where he has to go into the deep into that and start searching for what he wants or what he can be able to do or what he would like to do. And he should be knowing that by himself, that I am able to do this. Yes, I can do this. To do that, what do you need? So this is the philosophy behind the outcome-based education. This is the philosophy. What are we to do as teachers, as educators? What are we to do? How to execute this? How to take this to the student? And how to make a student to fall into the groove? That is the basic question of the day and of the hour. So what we have to do is, all the teachers, we should stop giving them spoon feeding. Do not spoon feed the students. Do not feed them the fish. Teach them how to catch a fish. That should be the need of the hour. The students should be able to walk on their own, work on their own. They should be able to know and present of their own thing. Then what do we do for that? What do we do for that? Make the student responsible for this. Shift the responsibility from the shoulders of a teacher to the shoulders of a student. Tell us to take students into such a place where students start questioning and searching for answers. He should start questioning. He should start checking for answers. And till now, what were we doing? See, check up even in the examinations. What is the way we are evaluating a student? Are we evaluating the student's knowledge by the multiple choice questions that are taken in the frontline part of any examination as such? In multiple choice questions, you test the memory of a student, not knowledge of a student. You're testing the memory. Yeah, I have given 4 options, which is the correct option. Whoever memorizes well can answer well. So, does this kind of memory system develop the depth of the knowledge of a student? Does a student take responsibility of his own knowledge gathering? The gain of his knowledge? These are the questions that we are facing now. The student does not take responsibility. He'll say, I have been taught like this. I have been taught like this. So, instead of being responsible, instead of taking the responsibility on the teacher to make the student learn, there should be a shift of the responsibility from the teacher's shoulder to the student's shoulder. Then the student will be able to question what he needs, what he wants to learn. But before giving the whole responsibility to the student, what we teachers are supposed to do, show them a wholesome picture. Show them a wholesome picture of the course that he has chosen. Don't show them in pragmatics. Give him wholesome picture. Give a student a wholesome picture of a course that he or she has chosen. Then let them ask what they want, when they want, how they want. Who has to teach them or tell them what this is? Then, when the responsibility goes to the student, the greater will be the interest of the student to learn things. The greater will be the interest of the student to learn things. Then what would he do? What would he do? He would seek a support of a teacher. He would seek a support of a teacher to grow his knowledge or quench his thirst in the chosen area, in the chosen course. Then the outcome comes. When he has full interest and responsibility of the course he has taken into, he would do it better than us. Then he would start thinking, where should I go to get this answer from? Where should I go to check this more? Where should I go to learn more about this? So these kind of things, when it gets developed, when it happens in the meaning, there the student's interest starts. When the student starts interest, he will start preparing. What would he prepare? He would aim to learn such an education or such a course that would prepare him for his life and for the society on the whole. Yeah, what if one student has done something good, and what if one student have learned on the basis of outcome-based education? Not one. At least one full generation would learn this. If this is started at this present day situation, the students who completes his course and comes out, by the time he comes out, he is able to do things on his own. He is able to present things on his own. And once my aim is fulfilled, then it becomes broader. Once the student's preparation is fulfilled, once he has taken the responsibility and he started learning it on his own and he has completed his course and he has reached the outcome of his course, that would reflect on the society. That would reflect on the society. The individuals make society. Society doesn't make individuals. Individuals join together to make a society. It doesn't happen reverse. So, this philosophical foundation of learning on the base of outcome-based education would compel a student to become responsible to learn whatever course he has taken or she has chosen till the depth, not peripheral, not peripheral. The peripheral education will be no more existing if outcome-based education gets into group. When you fall in that path, it will be depth, the depth of the knowledge, not the peripheral knowledge anymore. So that is what we have to teach a student at this juncture. At this juncture, everything has become, the minutest things have taken place. Nanos have come into. You are specializing something, that means you are specializing it. Whatever you have specialized, you have to depend on your own to specialize that. In such situation, a student has to be responsible. As teachers, we all know we teach 40, 50 students for a batch. But why few are shining and why few are not shining? You might be taking the same class for all the 40. But do all the 40 come in the same, fall in the same line? No. Because few students sitting in the chair, looking at you, are dreaming, wide eyes open, dreaming. Maybe a hero, maybe a heroine, maybe his own, something like that. He's not participating. He's just listening to you. The students are just listening to you. Just listening may not make him understand and take things delivered to them properly. They have to be involved. They have to take part into it. If they have to take part, yeah, we do say in the classrooms that you start questioning. You start questioning, you question the teacher, then you develop. But is this happening? That is why we need outcome-based education. When the outcome has to come from a course, particular course, the student has to check with all the 5 W's and 1 H. Only then the course outcome exists as per what it has to be. Then slowly, if you have developed your student to do all this, what would happen? Then there would be accountability of the student. The accountability of the student would make him fulfill his interest, his outcome. He will start thinking on his own about his outcome. And then he will start questioning, what is the curriculum that I need? What I need, not what I'm taught. What is the outcome that I would like to have? If I would like to have a particular required outcome, is my requirement, then I have to learn that particular item. This shift has to happen. In such case, what would a student look at? He will look at the society. He will look at the industry. What would fetch me a good life? What would take me into a higher position? In such case, the demand of an industry will be fulfilled, and those students would like to get ability of doing things in that course. So automatically the outcome comes. What happens if these things happen? Automatically, without saying a word, what will happen? The standards will be maintained. Because our stakeholders, the students, will demand. So naturally, you have to improve your academic standards to fulfill their quest. So these are linked up with one and the other. The link, how is the link? It's not a tied one, entangled link. No, it is not an entangled. It is like a chain joining the other one. It's a chain link, not the entangled link anymore. So once this accountability and responsibility enter into, and the industry-based need will also join it. Naturally, this will take us to a higher place. And what kind of issues will we have in teaching and learning if this outcome-based education is taken into account? The students' intake, will it increase or decrease? No. It will increase qualitatively. The qualitative increase of students' intake will take place. Then naturally, when the quality is there, self-questioning of qualification improves. Self-questioning, self-conscious qualifications. Then there would be a change in our teaching process. We won't be lecturing like this for hours together. Naturally, if somebody is lecturing for hours together, the listener won't be interested in. It's a human psychology that no one can listen to another person more than 40-45 minutes. Then what to do? How to improve it? Focus on that point, what the students want, what his ability is, what he wants to do, and what he wants to attain as an outcome. When these things are planned, the teaching and learning on the basis of outcome-based education will have a different situation. What happens if these things go bad? What happens? A shift has taken place, a change has come into. Then, naturally, when there is a change, there will be few questions. As we already spoke about, who are our stakeholders? And they would demand us. Not that we demand them, they would demand us. So this will give you a very big change. This will give you a very big change. What do we provide to them? The next question is, what do we provide to them? Not that what I know. Not the lectures that I have been giving since years and making them sit and hear to me. No more he wants to do that. He has an idea now. He is responsible for his growth and development and ability in producing what course has he taken and what the outcome he wants. So that becomes a new change will occur. Then another question, what do the students achieve? The student achieves what he wants because he knows if I take this particular course, what would be the outcome of the course? What would be I would be able to do? What I would be able to produce with the knowledge that I have gained. So he has to reach that point. He wants to reach that. You might or might not satisfy him in this way. Hence, he would ask you something different. Another kind of shift, another kind of learning. Of course, there will be few issues in doing this in the earlier stages. The student may not be, I said may not be. I didn't say cannot be, right? There's a big difference. May not be able to understand, realize what actually he wants. What should be the outcome of the course he has come into. But the society and the market around him would teach him what kind of accountability he should have on the outcomes of a course. Slowly, this change will take a paradigm shift. Then the education completely becomes student-centered. A student-centered education. Who is responsible for learning? Student. Who is responsible for what he wants? Student. Who is responsible for what he wants to learn? Student. Who is responsible to gain the knowledge? who is responsible to question. So the whole shift, the whole thing has come onto him. As that comes, he would start questioning everything, just not his course outcome. He would start questioning on the outcome, on the basis of outcome, what he has to learn, what kind of material should he have, what kind of academic standards that are to be attained. Is there somebody asking me a question? Can you please mute yourself, Miss Hemlata? Yeah. Thank you for muting yourself. So, in this way, how do we implement this program? I understand I have wasted a little of time because of a connection problem. I will not take much of your time. I would like to just focus upon how do you implement this OBE. There will be few things that would go into implementing this. Mainly the effectiveness of a program and their basic educational objectives. Here we should give more stress so that the student can achieve what actually he wants. Naturally, when you give importance to the educational objectives, better would be the outcomes. Better would be the outcomes of that particular. Then you have to think of the assessment tools that you would like to have to assess the work or the outcomes that have been in the list. So these things will happen in course of time. Let us not hurry into assessing the education now. Let it get implemented. Let it start its point. When it goes on and on, as we all know, the evaluation system earlier and present is not the same. We have a continuous evaluation system now. Just not the examination that they take in the 3 hours. We have other things to do also. There will be ethical values, there will be moral values, there will be outcomes of the reach, everything goes into account. And so, once this outcome-based education happens in the higher learning, it should be, I mean, it's my personal idea that it should start from the higher learning, not from the school level or the lower level. Because by the time the higher learning, a student comes to higher learning, he will be little matured. He would be able to set a goal for himself, be able to know what he actually wants or what the society expects him to do. When all these happen, then there would be this, what are we calling outcome-based education, will be a success, a real success. It has to take place, present day situation, to make the youth understand and participate in the growth of their personal life as well as the social life. Hence, they can grow the society into such a direction where there would be a shift in Indian society. All these aims at the development of the whole Indian society, not in detail. So, I don't want to take much more time because the mistake was on the part of let me not just put it on the the technology alone. There was some mistake, something has happened. Anyway, I am extremely sorry for that, for the delay. But since there are another paper has to take place, it's only a philosophy. How do you introduce this and what is the need of the day? So I think I could at least tell you what it is needed in this particular time as such. And may I take this opportunity to thank the organizers for two things, for having given me a chance to be amongst you, and for having accepted the delay from my side due to some technical problems. And thank you very much. Ma'am, you can take the stage.
Thank you for your voracious presentation. It's a time for interaction from the participants. The participant may requested to post their questions or maybe ask directly on the mic. Yeah, you can speak.
Good morning, one and all. Respected madam, really, it is a very wonderful lecture, madam. It is a need of our being a faculty. Everybody must inculcate the outcome-based education and its implications. At this juncture, my name is Dr. Mohan Behra from PVKN College, Department of Botany. There are two areas of concern, madam. Madam, do you consider it is a burden to the institution and educational instructors and educational institutions? This outcome-based education, do we consider it is a burden to the instructors as well as educational institutions? Number one. Number two, madam, let me know what is outcome and outcome significance. It is always in my mind, there is a confusion. Outcome, the difference between outcome and outcome significance.
Yeah, thank you for the questions. No? But the first question you asked me is, does it become a burden on the institution and the teachers? To put it clearly, it becomes less burden on the teacher, because the teacher, as we all are teachers, we think what we have to tell them and how to make them understand and how to make their outcome in a good manner and all that, we have to think. Once the student knows what his outcome is and what he wants to achieve, it becomes easier on us and the teachers to take that. This is my first point. And the second question you asked, there is a little confusion in these two things. What is the outcome and what is the outcome other way around? Because, but once we start this kind of education and once we fix our outcomes, only then I think we can shift on to the others. This is what I feel.
Thank you, madam, for your response and clearance to our audience.
Thank you. Mr. Samuel. Mr. Samuel?
Yes, ma'am. Please tell me.
Yeah, the other ma'am also has come. If you have any questions, you can post it. Our ma'am is ready with her presentation. You can ask her to join.
Okay, madam. Okay, madam.
Okay, sir. Okay, madam, let's propose vote of thanks by our report here. Then we'll start her session, madam, please.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, let's finish this session first and start the next session, please, ma'am.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah.
అలాగే
On behalf of the organizers, let me thank our resource person, Professor J.V. Satya Vani Madam Garu, for the voracious talk on philosophy of OBE, need of the hour. She has rightly emphasized the outcome-based education and the need of the hour. Present day scenario, the students has to take their own choice for educating themselves, and they have to question what is the outcome of this education like that. They have to develop the culture of questioning as well as learning themselves. At the same time, the paradigm, she wants to change the paradigm shift from the teacher responsibilities to the student responsibilities to know himself to what he have to achieve in his future. So for that, we have to provide the choice what he have selected for the education. Then only he can serve the society also after his fulfillment inside. At the same time, there has to some change in the evaluating patterns also, by introducing various methods of testing in the multiple choice questions, so whatever may be. At the same time, 90% of the present day education has become spoon feeding. This has to be changed to self-learning. What we have to know, do it on his own. So that is the motto of this session. The change of questioning pattern also be introduced by the students. So this session become very lively, and Professor Satya Vani Madam has presented the present scenario challenges and issues. At the same time, she also suggested some solutions for the outcome-based education. So, ma'am, on behalf of the organizers, once again, I thank for this voracious philosophy lecture. At the same time, we have to inculcate our traditions in the education system. Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much for your presence, gracious presence here. Thank you, ma'am, for giving opportunities.
I thank Dr. Sasikala Madam and Dr. Muhammad Bakr sir for chairing and acting as reporter respectively for this session. Thank you very much, ma'am. And since there was some delay in the first session, we have no time to give the break. So let's go with the fourth session. Now I welcome the resource person of this session, Dr. S. Vijaya Vardhini Madam Garu, Associate Professor and Dean of School of Education and Human Resource Development, Dravidian University, Kuppam. And I also request Dr. Rajini Madam to act as chairperson for this session, and I welcome her onto the dais. And I also welcome Shri Chakravarti Gondiala sir to act as reporter for this session, and welcome him to come onto the dais. And I request Rajini ma'am to continue the proceedings, please.
Thank you very much, madam. All the participants of the FDP, online and offline, I wish you all a very good morning. And I deem it my privilege to introduce the resource person of today, Dr. S. Vijaya Vardhini ma'am. I would like to introduce her as she's a known orator, and she's presently Registrar of Dravidian University, Kuppam. And to her credit, she has got 20 plus research papers, and she has been awarded PhD from Mahila University, and she guided many researchers to pursue their PhD and presently guiding many. And to her credit, she has acted as resource person in many seminars and conferences. And today's topic of her is very interesting as she is going to address the participants of FDP with pedagogical interventions in OBE. Actually, this intervention is really an interesting topic as it is a response to the issues that we have found using data collection methods in order to publish papers in journals with field notes, etc. The pedagogical intervention using social values aims to decrease violent behavior and enhance the student awareness. I think her lecture will enlighten us to control this kind of arrogant behavior in our teenage students. I welcome you, ma'am, and we all await to listen to your enlightening resource person. I can say it's a lecture of your resource personality. Welcome, ma'am.
Good morning, one and all. Hello, may I audible? Hello? Hello?
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Yeah. So, thank you very much. At the outset, I thank the organizers to giving me this opportunity to share my views with regard to pedagogical interventions on OBU. Then before that, I want to give a clarification. I am not the registrar of the University. I am the HOD of Department of Education. I have 25 years of experience in the teaching of pedagogical social sciences. I am teaching both B.Ed as well as M.Ed. I am guiding PhDs. In my credit, there are 6 PhDs who had completed, then 1 MPhil also. Here, I thank the organizers once again. Let me go into the topic, which is very much interesting, which is the need of the hour. What Madam said is earlier. The need of the hour is the objective-based education. I don't know how many of the teachers here are completed their B.Ed courses or teacher education program. Actually, OBE, when you talk about OBE, objective-based education, it's repeatedly that will be the word used in the context of education, especially in the training programs, because teachers are to be oriented in that direction. What we are expected from the students, that expectations can be spelled out, can be said in terms of OBE. Let us continue our topic in this, that is pedagogical interventions in OBE. Next slide. What is pedagogy? First of all, I want to know what is pedagogy. There are so many things are there, understandings or views with regard to pedagogy. Many of them generally say that pedagogy is nothing but an approach or method of teaching. It is not just simply an approach and method of teaching. We know what is an approach. There are various approaches in teaching and various methods like lecture method, discussion method, lecture come discussion, then problem solving method, heuristic method, analytical method. There are so many methods. But pedagogy is not just confined to only the methodology, the approach. It is theory and in practice in learning process. In learning, there is not simply teaching. It is also with related to the practicum. So practice and teaching. Then it is art of teaching. We can also say that pedagogy is also an art of teaching. Art of teaching means teachers we are not born as teachers. We are all know that. No one is a born teacher. Teachers are made the four walls of the classroom, but teaching is an art. How it is an art? Because we can say that simply knowing a subject, delivering a class is not that much of easy. So pedagogy comes under in that art of teaching. Then it is also includes teaching styles. Styles will differ. It is not same to all. There are various styles of teaching. Then it also includes classroom management. As a teacher, how to manage a classroom. There are 30 students are there in the classroom, 40 students are there. Then as a teacher, have we paying our attention to the students? Or can we conform to the only one of students or a few students who are very well versed in the subject? It's not that. Teacher is one who has to manage, who has to take care of all the students in the process. That is the classroom management. That is a peers are there, how they are interacting with each other, what are the difficulties there. Everything should be, that is called as getting the discipline. So teacher, we used to say the teacher is the leader of the class, he is the first leader. Then how, because the students will follow the leader. So a leader is one who will give a good guidance to the students. So classroom management is also comes under pedagogy. Then what next? Transaction, imparting knowledge or sharing content. We all know that what we are doing now. You are as a teachers, you are all teachers, I am also a teacher. We are sharing our knowledge in the classroom, and the knowledge what we are acquiring through our we did our master degrees. We have so much of knowledge about our subject that we are transacting. And how we are transacting or imparting the knowledge is also includes in the pedagogy. Then feedback and assessment. Feedback and assessment means that how we are taking the feedback. Any of the teachers now, what I'm saying, feedback is for benefit of the teacher and benefit of the students also, both the way. Assessment. We usually conduct examinations. That what madam said is, we are conducting examinations to students. Generally, assessment is both for the teacher and as well as the student. First of all, it is for the teacher, because what I expected, am I achieved? With that respect, can be assessed only with the student testing or examination pattern. So it will help us in that way to improve our teaching or to get satisfaction. If the results are good, can be get satisfaction. Our self-esteem can be enhanced. That's what we can see here. So feedback and assessment also the part of pedagogy. Apart from that, it is not a simple one. It is because it includes all teaching, learning, methodology, then assessment, feedback, maintaining classroom, all together is called as pedagogy. Now we will go to the another one, how this pedagogy will help us in this objective-based learning. So before that, I want to know that what are our aims of education? Because unless we know the aims and the objectives, then we can't go with it. This is very important. So here we will see what are the aims of education. Aims of education is very broad. They are not very simple. They are very broad with some purpose. They are planned to be achieved through education. Aims of education can be achieved through education, and they are most weak, indefinite, and their attainment is quite difficult through class conditions. They may vary society to society, nation to nation. These may be attained or may not be. I will give an example. Madam, then we ask a question. Madam, if we may not attain, what is the see? I said these are vague and indefinite, but aims are there. Without aim, we can't go. For example, I am saying that it will vary from society to society, because what are we required in our society, in our nation, we will have our educational aims. These educational aims will take forward. For example, now we are all talking about NEP 2020. In NEP 2020, we are making a full effort on that according to our cultural aspects. That is our multicultural. In that context, we are designing our education aims, our education aims. So with that, now we are giving preference to our ethos. We are emphasizing on values, which are very essential. We are focusing on that. So therefore, how we can achieve? We will achieve, but not within the 24 hours or within a 45 days or within 360 days. But we are in the process of attaining that. Therefore, we may not, we may not, but we are. One example I will give. We are saying that now we are reaching that 75th independence. We in 74 years we are 75. At the time of independence, while we are writing the constitution, we did that within 10 years of freedom, we want to achieve total literacy. Have we achieved? No. Still, we are in the process of achieving. So that doesn't mean that we don't have aim. We want to make all literate. All Indians must be literate. We are moving up that way. But we haven't so far, but we haven't not missed. So in that way, making literate is one aim. Through education, we want to meet that. Through formal education or through non-formal education. Today we are saying through online education. But we are taking so many efforts in reaching them. So bring back the students who are dropouts to the schools again. We are establishing very different types of schools. But everything is to achieve that aim. So education aims are there. So these aims will take us. Again, I want to, here we are going for educational aims to, next slide. Educational aims. Then we will go to the educational objectives. Aims are different with objectives. That I want to make clear. How the educational objectives are. These are more specific than the educational aims. That means specificity can be seen in the educational objectives, but less specific than instructional objectives. What instructional objectives I go to later. So educational, with regard to your particular subject, you will have some objectives. For example, I will say, educational objectives as a teacher of history, as a teacher of language, you will have your aims, you will write it. While I'm teaching, what aims? As a teacher, how can I write the educational objectives? I will make it. So they serve the general purpose of education. Then their attainment is quite possible within the education structure and means, because once he entered into a degree program or an intermediate program or a school program, what are the aims, the education aims we design that we can achieve in the stipulated period? These will help for the proper development of the individual. So now we will see this. Educational objectives are related with the cognitive, cognitive and affective domains of the behavior. See, ultimate aim of education is to bring a change in the care of the individual. The ultimate, that is nothing but overall development. That overall development is with our knowledge, our feelings and our doings. It is not, education doesn't mean that only giving the knowledge aspect, leaving the other two domains. The entire personality, that means my thinking process, my actions, also to be included in that. Therefore, what I want to say is, educational objectives are related to our behavior. I want to change the behavior. For example, I will say, as a teacher, or what is education? The aim of education is to bring an all-round development. That is an education. So all-round development of the individual doesn't mean only the cognitive development, where we are emphasizing students only the part of cognitive aspects, thinking aspects, knowledge aspects. But what about his feelings? What about his attitudes? What about his interests? There also we have to stress on those things. Then coming to these aspects of, next is the slide. What is OBE? What is OBE? Everybody is talking about OBE, objective-based education. What is objective-based education? Objective-based education is nothing but the student-centered teaching and learning. Why we are saying that it's student-centered, don't we know that? It's very clear. But in the past, it's not like that. If you go Gurukula system of education, if you go ancient system of education, there you can see the teacher is the center. Whatever the teacher says, the student has to learn. It is the interest of the teacher, it is not the interest of the student. Now, the table, take a round. The student is coming forward, the teacher is going back. Teacher is like a mentor. Then he is helping the student in the learning process. So therefore, while we are constructing the curriculum, either we are delivering the content. Here, the student should be the center of the learning process. It is not, as a teacher, my interest, according to my student interest. I should. How with the pedagogy will say in that aspect. Then moreover, it is a goal-oriented. Goal-oriented means
There is a specific goal to attain the goal. What are the goals? That will spell out in the objectives. After teaching this particular lesson, my student will able to understand or explain or find the relationship between, or he will analyze. These are the things. This is I want to make my student to reach that goal. So therefore, these are called as goal oriented. And student should achieve the goal. Not only goal. We are making the student to achieve. After teaching is over, the student is able to say that. If not, we can say easily reach the goals. So these must be spelled out before the teaching. That's why it focuses on student performance in terms of learning outcomes. Now I will come. Objective-based education will speak on learning outcomes. What learning outcome means? Learning outcome is nothing but after my learning process is over, what I'm expecting from my student. It is not just teaching and leaving my student, but the assessment. That's why we are saying that teaching, learning, and assessment. Teaching, learning, and feedback. Teach, then we will ask them questions. With that questions, we are able to know whether students have achieved those or not. So that can be seen. Next slide. That is how the pedagogy will help us. Before that, I want to go back to the slide of what is learning. That is in the 10th slide. Madam, come to that slide. Learning. What are learning outcomes? Learning outcomes are, these are the competencies which a learner will develop and improve in their teaching learning process. So that is a learning outcome can be said in that way. It is the competence which the learner will develop. How we will develop and improve? It is through the learning process, teaching and learning. While we are teaching, the child will learn. Teacher is the taught. Here, the teacher is teaching. The taught is the learner. In that process, he will develop the competencies. Then they are expected by the teachers before she or he deliver the lecture or transacting the knowledge. See here, very, very clear in that. Learning outcomes are expected before my lecture. See, after my lecture is over, what I'm expecting from you is that my target group may able to understand what I said. This is learning. If they understand, they can able to explain what it is. Is it clear for you? So that's how the learning outcome will talk on that. So learning outcome has to be expected by the teachers before teaching. After my teaching, what I'm expecting from it, what knowledge aspect, what understanding aspect, what application aspect, because whatever the knowledge we are giving to the student should understand that. If understanding is possible, then only he can go for applying in situations. Wherever he requires, where he needed, that it can be useful. There, the learning outcomes will speak out. So learning outcomes are essential. Then these learning outcomes are next. Outcomes that describe the acquired knowledge. That's what? Understanding, application, skills, attitudes, and interest of the learner had successfully achieved after learning process or experience. After my teaching is over, I should know that whether my student should understand that. I'm giving a knowledge because we are saying that we are transacting the knowledge. Whatever you are transacting the knowledge or imparting the knowledge through the content, the child has to be able to understand. How we can understand? With the help of the teaching aids or with the help of an experiment or whatever the devices you are using for make the student understand. That is also comes in this pedagogy. So therefore you are making the child to understand the concept. So understand those students who have understood that concept can only will apply the knowledge. That's if not, whether it may be a mathematics or a sciences or languages or social sciences or a history or whatever the subjects you are doing at college level, there the student should be able to apply the knowledge, application of the knowledge. Application of the knowledge is only possible with those who understood that concept. Then skills are required. What are the skills that? The skills pertaining to the subject, maybe drawing skills, maybe doing the experimental skills, maybe manipulating skills, all the skills. Then coming to my attitude. attitudes comes under the domain, what I said that is I have my attitude should do change. See, attitudes will develop from the grassroots, that means from the early stages. So, right attitudes, scientific attitudes, good attitudes will develop, they will form by at the stage. So, what attitude you are making them, this is also important. That will spell out in the objectives based education in terms of learning outcome. Then they focus on content and application of knowledge to help the student to connect the knowledge in the day-to-day life situation. That's what we are focusing on. With the learning outcomes will help the student in connecting the knowledge in the day-to-day life situation. For example, I'll teach a banking lesson. After learning that lesson, she may be able to go to the bank and may be able to do all the transaction. That is, he is applying the knowledge. Maybe a science student, maybe art student, whatever it may be. Whatever the knowledge we are giving, that has to be transacted. So learning outcomes will be the main things what the teachers are expecting before delivering the lesson. Objective based education is that, because objectivity must be there. So when there is objective based education, then only objective based evaluation can be possible. Because what we are designing before we are going to say, that is outcome based education. Unless as a teachers we know what are the expected outcomes, can't go for assessment also. This is called as learning outcome. Then coming to this learning outcome, we will come to this. What is the pedagogical intervention in OBE? Now I think you are clear with objective based educations are related with our aims of education objectives, then learning outcomes. Then now we will see how this pedagogy will intervene with the objective based education. As a teachers, you will select different pedagogies. Then what I said in the first slide, that pedagogy is not very simple, it's a complex, it includes everything. So when we come to this, there are a variety of pedagogical approaches. Behavioralistic approach, constructivism, social constructivism. When we talk about this behavioralistic approach, here the people who worked on this behavioralism, those are called as behaviorists. Here, the ultimate aim of education is to bring a change in the behavior of the individual. How a behavior of individual can be shaped. So they are focusing on that approach is saying that behavior. For example, in the class, the conditioning theory, what we will say, the behavior can be conditioned. To what it can be conditioned? To good, it can be good habits, then discipline. These things can be conditioned through education. The student is sincere, disciplined, well-mannered. All these are come through conditioning. Then shaping the behavior. See, as teachers, the students are in our hands. Who doesn't know anything? We are the people who are giving a shape to them. Maybe like a clay. I'm giving an example. A clay is given to you, all the teachers. I'm asking you to give a shape to that. Everyone is trying and giving whatever shape that is coming with from your hands. That is the teacher. We are giving a shape to the, because the society is expecting from us, from the community, that the students, what we will say that is good citizens to us. What are the policies, the educational policies, the national education policies, maybe 1986 or before independence or after independence, what all the committees and recommendations and various education policies are saying that they are expecting good citizens, one thing, well-rounded and integrated personalities. So how this can be possible is only by shaping them in such a way according to our aims and objectives. That is what the behavioristic theory is talking. So behavior has to be shaped according to the desirable, what is desirable, what is expected by the society is expecting from us. In that way, we have to shape the behavior of the individual. Then coming to the constructivism, what constructivism is saying that whatever the knowledge that you are giving, that must be due to the experiential learning. Let the child learn through experience. That is another approach. So that means we are giving hands-on learning experience. Let the child learn by doing. So hands-on learning experiences. This is another. Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, may I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Is my voice is audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. It's audible only, ma'am.
May I continue?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can hear your voice, please.
Okay, I'll continue because here I'm there's a mute and like that. Okay, I'll continue. So coming to the behavioralistic approaches, there are the psychologists who did a lot of effort, like Pavlos, Skinner, and Thorndike. These made a on that how to we have to shape the behavior of the individual by conditioning theories. That is the behavior has to be. Then constructivism is coming to the Vygotsky, who said that experiential learning, the child should learn from by his own doings. Let the child has to be allowed, giving opportunity to the child. Let the child do on his own experiential learning. Take the child to the field. Let them learn from that. We are taking them to the labs, giving the opportunity, field trips. All this will help him to learn through experience. That is called as experiential learning. This is another approach, pedagogical approach in this OBE. We can achieve the objectives. Then coming to the, for example, even in the constructivism, how they can appreciate our Indian culture and heritage. If you take them to the field and show that they can see our culture, then they can see our ancient, all the constructions, then they can appreciate that how our culture is, that our knowledge aspects, everything they can appreciate. So therefore here I want to make that in this, how the pedagogical interventions can be help us in the constructivism through Vygotsky is hands-on learning experiences. Then social constructivism is another approach, psychological approach is talking about that. That is Alfred Bandura, who said it is not the child always learn the things from the four walls of the classroom. The child will learn through observations. This is observational learning. So in this observation learning, you are giving up. That is, as a teacher, we are the models or roles to the students. They will observe the teacher's behavior. They will observe the parents' behavior. They will observe the community. So most of the time, the child used to be with us in school, college level or school level. They be with the college environment or school environment. Then how they are, and what they are observing is very. They are learning through observations. This learning through observations is another way of learning pedagogical intervention or pedagogical approach to achieve the objective-based education. And coming to this, now I want to see that pedagogical interventions will help us in achieving our aims and objectives. Another point I want to make you know, there is a, let me 1 second. Before that, learning outcomes, I want to make another point is that how this pedagogical intervention in OBEs means through taxonomy of educational objectives. The taxonomy of educational objectives is the father is that Benjamin Bloom's, who classified educational objectives under 3 domains. the three domains, you can say that cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor. These three domains together say that the behavior of a person can be seen in the three domains. So as the behavioralistic say that the behavior has to be changed, it is changed not only with the cognitive domain, it is with the affective and psychomotor. Now in the 2020, the policy is also so much focus on that. It is not only cognitive aspect, we have to touch upon the other aspects of the affective domain, our feelings, that is introducing the subjects like arts, performing arts, music. These things also will help the students. Then our ethos, our values has to be put in our, even the content also and transact. So therefore you can change the behavior of the individual. So
Madam, sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Ma'am, please.
Yeah.
Ma'am, Vijaya, madam, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Is this the right slide, madam, what you're teaching?
No. I'm here. I'm going, madam. This is what is pedagogical intervention is the right slide, madam.
Yeah. Because no, we are sharing different slide and madam is explaining different slide, please.
Is it? Now,
Yes,
what is pedagogical intervention? Are you there?
No, you just tell us what slide we are supposed to be.
Okay, just wait, madam. Just wait. I'll come. Coming to the 7th slide, madam, taxonomy of educational objectives.
Okay. Ma'am, if you change the slide, kindly say next, ma'am,
Yeah.
please. We will also change.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Are you following?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
Now you come to the slide 7, number 7. I will give the number 7.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we will come to the slide 7, taxonomy of educational objectives. Now I'm connecting those because
okay, ma'am.
Unless
Kindly continue.
we know the taxonomy objectives, we can't go further how to write the outcomes also. Then taxonomy of educational objectives. Benjamin Bloom was the first person who classified educational objectives. Because we in the previous slide we are talking about this objective based learning. See, I'm going back to the slide. That is let me go to the 5th slide, madam. Come to the 5th slide. Educational objectives. Okay. Hello. Go to educational objectives. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. You carry on, ma'am. Ma'am, we have changed it.
Yeah. Now educational objectives. Then come to this. I have already given clarity on the educational objectives. Then coming to that, instructional objectives or learning outcomes, because you all want to know what is a learning outcome. Come to the 6th slide, madam. Learning outcomes. Okay. Learning outcomes are very narrow and specific. They are definite, tangible, precise, clear, functional. Hello, madam. May I continue?
Ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Instructional objectives are learning outcomes. Everyone is talking about what is a learning outcome. These are narrow and specific, definite, tangible, precise, clear, and functional, predetermined and formulated.
Excuse me, ma'am.
See here, predetermined and formulated means before delivering a lecture, teachers should write these learning outcomes. After my lecture is over, what learning outcome I see in my student? What learning outcome? That means that can be written in the form of, after my teaching is over, my student will able to do this thing. I will write, like, for example, I will give the student will able to find the difference between any two things. So the differences has to spell out what you have taught. They can, otherwise, after my lesson is over, after learning this, the student will able to give examples, are able to find relationships, are able to analyze the concept. So in such way, the learning outcomes are very clear. So therefore, I'm saying very clear, precise, and functional. Then they can attain in the classroom teaching within the stipulated period. After 1 hour of the classroom, whatever you taught, whatever the content you delivered, the student can able to say in form of learning outcome. That is, the student can explain, the student can give an example, the student can locate the places in the map, the student can able to draw, or the student can able to point out what you have seen in the picture. These are all called as learning outcomes. Those can be attained in classroom teaching with the stipulated period. Then they always stated in terms of expected pupils. We have to write in that expected way. They can understand the concept. They can analyze what are those things that are there. You can write it, analyzing those things. This is called as instructional object. Then now I'm coming to this taxonomy, that is taxonomy for educational. How these learning outcomes or objective based education is done only through taxonomy of educational objectives. Now I want to focus here. That is Benjamin Bloom's, who was the first person in classifying the educational objectives. When he, as a teacher, while he is evaluating the papers, then he came to know that what the question is there, then what the answer is there, then how to score that. There is a problem he found. Then he made a research on that, and he said that unless what we are teaching before we are planning what we want to achieve, we can't go for evaluation. So objective has to be spelled out before teaching. Before I'm going to the class and to deliver my lecture, I have to write the objectives. So therefore he is saying that educational objective has to be spelled out clearly before transacting the content. Next thing, he was the editor of the first book of taxonomy. Then the main focus of educational objective is to change the behavior of the learner with respect from learning experience. We are giving some experiences. Why? Because we want to change the behavior of the individual. What the behavior means? The behavior which is not desirable behavior, we want a desirable behavior. It is through education only. So educated person, uneducated person, you can clearly say that. The behavior will show that whether you are educated or uneducated. So education is nothing but to bring a person from darkness to light. That's what we are saying that. Tamasoma Sadgamaya. We are saying that. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityu. That is from darkness to light, from ignorance to. People who are in the ignorance, we are bringing them into the wisdom. Then who are in the darkness, we are bringing them. This is only through education. So in that way, we are making an attempt through these educational objectives are focusing to change the behavior of the learner with respect to some learning experiences. As a teacher, we are giving some experiences. These experiences will help the learner to change his behavior. A student who is not minimum of respect to others, we will make them how to respect the others. Or we are asking them, are you educated or uneducated? What is your behavior? Don't you know how to respect others? You may ask, madam, without education also they are doing. Maybe, but education is not just respecting. There are so many things which have to make the individual a integrated personality, all-round personality. In all the aspects we have to, in our thinking, in our feelings, in our attitudes, in our cooperation, in our empathy, all these will come through education. That's what we are focusing. So educational objectives, this is taxonomy of educational objectives, are focusing on the attempt to change the behavior of the individual. Next, the educational objectives are related with the cognitive, cognitive, and affective domains of human being. Because human behavior is divided in 3 domains. That is, one is knowledge Knowledge aspect. What is knowledge aspect is nothing but thinking, receiving, processing, and applying. These three. You are giving a knowledge, the student will receive. Then processing means he is able to understand that what you said. Then after that he is applying wherever he need. That is application. These three are comes under cognitive domain. So whatever knowledge that we are imparting to the students through our content, the student has to process it. It should be processed and it has to be applied wherever, whenever he needs. That is knowledge. Then affective domain. What is an affective domain? The personality is also included with affective domain means my feelings. My feelings are my attitudes, my interests, my appreciations are to be included in this affective domain. See, according to the interests of the child, what interests you are inculcating, what attitudes are you are inculcating. Though I am educated, but my attitude is not like an educated person. Today we are talking about many students are, for example, not only student, as an educator, many things are happening in the society. Why the people are doing like this? What is happening? Don't they think a proper way? Are they not able to receive both the happiness and the sadness same manner? See, for example, if a child fails in a paper, he simply go and suicide, get a suicide. Why these things are happening? Because the thinking process is not happening. Make the child to be able to withstand in all the life situations. Maybe ups and downs will come. That doesn't matter, because life is more precious than all these things. Life is more precious than the examination, maybe a job. That what we have to make our people to know the things, that is feelings. So strong attitudes then has to be built out in the personality. So that is called as feelings. Then doings. Whatever the works we are doing, we have to give the priority, not just coming to the class and taking notes. Giving that is experiential learning. That what I have said in this behavioristic theory and constructivism and social constructivistic theories of various psychologists they have spelled out. Here in this psychomotor domain, the experiential learning, let the student go to the field and the student let them know the things from first-hand information. In the classroom we are showing, let the student go to the field and know the things in the experiential way of learning. Spend time with the community and know the things. We are giving a project to the student, go to the field and collect the data and present the report. This will focus on that is that is cognitive domain. Now I'm coming to this next slide, that is now again we are coming back to the what is OBE. Now I am connecting that OBE is nothing but which is the educational objectives which were spelled out in the taxonomy of educational objectives can be seen in the OBE. Objective based education. Whatever the content you are delivering through various pedagogies, that is related with this. So student centered teaching and learning. So here student is the priority, where our objectives will revolve around the student has to achieve these objectives. Achieve this objective, then it is goal oriented. So after learning is over, the student has to achieve those goals, achievement of. Then student should achieve the goals. Then it focuses on student performance and learning outcomes. So that is what is OBE. Coming to this next one, 10.7, what are the learning outcomes we have? That is the competencies. So with that, learning outcomes can be spelled out, the competence which the learner will develop and improve in their teaching learning process. So learning outcomes, that is the capacity, our competencies. Competence has to be developed within the students. Writing, listening competencies, reading competencies, writing competencies, with language, with regard to the language teachers that are needed. So that can be developed through teaching. Then how we are giving the other modes of learning experiences that will help us. Then these are expected by the teacher before he or she delivers the lecture or transaction of the knowledge. Then Coming to this, now I want to focus in this, concluding that how now, before I'm concluding this, how this pedagogy will help in achieving these objectives, because learning outcomes and that describes the acquired knowledge, understanding, application skills, attitudes, and interests of the learners had successfully achieved after learning process or experiences. That means objective-based education is reflected in the way of learning outcomes. They focus on the context and application of knowledge to help the student to connect the knowledge in their day-to-day life situation. Whatever that we are imparting in the classroom, that should be useful to the student. If not, that is not at all meaningful also. So today we are talking about the learning should be meaningful learning, not rote learning. Understanding the concept and applying the concept. So just simply memorizing and vomiting in the class, in the examination and leave it, that is not learning. Learning is a permanent one, what we will say in the psychological aspect. So if it is a permanent, that should be there within the individual, that he can apply that knowledge wherever, whenever he requires. So the context of application of knowledge help the student to connect the knowledge in their day-to-day life situations. Then coming to that, in this pedagogical intervention, you can see that this pedagogy is behavioristic or constructivism or social constructivism. These will help in achieving our educational objectives. Next is that. Hello. So to develop an integrated person and all-round personality, pedagogical interventions in OBE will help us. Objective-based education will help in the education system to develop an integrated personality. That means both cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains. Apart from that, to cultivate creative intelligence. So it is not just like that. Meaningful and experiential learning only will give the opportunity. Creativity. Now we are focusing on creativity. Just in the previous learning systems, whatever the teacher will say, the student will read. They will come to the textbooks, madam, you tick mark from where to where I have to read the answer to such and such questions. Now this is not, we are entertaining nowadays. We are asking the children to listen whatever the teacher says and take the notes and prepare on your own. And that is your experiences will help you tomorrow. So therefore we are removing the rote learning. We are asking them to cultivate creative intelligence. So you use your intelligence and come out with the newness. That's what we are focusing on that through in this objective-based education. Then to enable the child to be resourceful in solving the problems. That is connected with his or her own needs. That's what I want to make here a point, that whatever that education we are giving to our children, that will help in solving their own problems. They should be able to stand to fight and resolve the conflicts or resolve the problems what they are encountering personally, maybe socially, maybe mentally. That means they have to develop in such a way that is called as all-round development. They must be strong enough, mentally strong enough to face the problems what they are going to. The next is that then they must be able to bring out the innate potential, talents, capacity. The pedagogical interventions in OBE will help us to bring out the innate potential, talents, capacities of the individual. So if you have the clarity with what are the objectives, this objective-based education will help us in that way. Then not only that, it will empower the learner with the democratic values of nothing but equality, justice, respect for others, and human dignity. So here, empowering the students means that's where I'm focusing again. That is affective domain. That the students will able to identify the values, able to know the values, then practicing the values. Values are not taught; they have to practice it. So equality, justice, freedom. So they should know we are all equal. Human are all equal. Have the justice. We have the freedom to express freedom of expression, and respect for others. Then human dignity. This is then cultivating human values and develop right attitudes in their character building. This is another point that what we do with pedagogical interventions. Pedagogical interventions will help us, the individuals, to be an efficient and effective and useful citizen. Our educational aims will also spell out that a child to be a productive one tomorrow. Today he is a child, tomorrow he is a citizen. So a good citizen and a productive citizen, when it can be possible, it is only through education. So therefore, our education should be evolved in all these aspects. So here I want to conclude that our pedagogy is very complex, including all the aspects, not just transacting the knowledge or imparting the content to the students in choosing various methods like lecture method or discussion or project, whatever it may be. Apart from that, we should know the art of teaching, knowing the mind of the student, knowing the interest of the students, knowing the abilities of the student. That way, we have to deliver the lecture. In that way, this pedagogical intervention, by knowing the behavior of the individual, shaping the individual behavior, and giving the opportunity to know by his own through experiential learning and through observations. We are giving up, the child will observe the society, observe the teachers, observe the other community people, then he will learn other aspects also. These all will be put together in the pedagogy, and in that way we can attain our learning outcomes. We have to attain because they can be attained in a stipulated period. So objective based education is before going to teaching a particular lesson, maybe any subject, the teacher should know clearly what I am going to deliver to my student and achieving what are the objectives. Coming to the knowledge aspect or understanding aspects or application, knowledge, understanding, application. These three are the main objectives which come under cognitive domain. Then skills come under the psychomotor domain. Attitudes, aspirations, interests will come under cognitive or affective domain. So therefore, the ultimate aim of education is to have a all-round integrated personality. So thank you very much for the organizers giving me this opportunity to share my views with regard to this pedagogical interventions in objective-based learning. Thank you so much. Now the platform is open for discussion. Hello. Hello.
Thank you, madam. Now the session is open for discussion. If you have any. Yeah. Thank you, madam. Now the session is open for discussion. If you have any doubts, please go ahead, participants.
Sir, for me, there is no chat box. Let me, just you read the questions if they are writing in that chat box. Just you read.
No, madam. Yeah, there is a question for you.
Yes, tell me, sir. Tell me, sir. You can read out the question so that I can answer it.
Sir, you come.
Madam, thank you, madam. It is a really good lecture. It is a need of the day for the OBE people, the faculty. Myself, Dr. Mohan Behra, PVKN College, Department of Botany. Madam, I think your second or third slide you have mentioned. Let me know, madam, the difference between cognitive, cognitive, and affective domains, and how these three domains helps in the development of one's personality. Number one question, madam. Number second question.
First, let me complete the first question, sir. Then we'll
Okay, madam. Okay. Okay.
See, human personality, let me come to the psychology, because I'm the teacher of psychology. Also, we will link the psychology with the methodology. It won't go simply that teaching of methodology. See, behavior of the individual can be seen in the three domains. as a human, the cognitive is the thinking. Yes, sir? Are you able to?
Yes, sharing, madam. Okay. Okay.
And psychomotor. Okay. So here, the human behavior can be divided into 3 domains. That what the Benjamin Bloom spelled out clearly that cognitive is respect to our knowledge aspects. Whatever the knowledge that you are giving to your student, he will able to understand. He will think. Thinking, in the thinking, there are so many types of divergent thinking, convergent of thinking, reasoning. Then, these are all in the thinking. This is come under knowledge aspect. That is a cognitive domain. Then coming to the affective domain, feelings of a person. So after learning this particular lesson, I'm able to appreciate the beauty of the nature as a language teacher, if you say that. So that appreciation should come out. Then I will appreciate my culture as a history student, I can. So these are my feelings. So positive feelings are of 2 types, both are positive and negative. As a teacher, we have to inculcate the positives in them and my attitudes. I have an attitude is nothing but my belief, and my opinion is my attitude. So what opinions or what beliefs you were developing in the students comes under the domain of affective. Then the psychomotor domain is nothing but my activities that which I am doing with my hands and my life. That the movements, that is motor domain. This motor domain is also there in my personality. So my thinking, my feelings, and my doings. All these are together put the human. So as a teacher, we have to give the priority, the thinking, the feelings, and the doings. So then only you will have a all-round integrated, developed personality. That is what we can say that these 3 domains will come together and we can show the human personality to be an integrated personality. Today what we are doing now, just we are delivering a lecture and we are leaving. We are not focusing on their interests and their feelings and their attitudes. Let the scientific attitudes and be developed as a science teacher, what you are about. The scientific attitudes has to be developed. Then right attitudes has to be developed. Then as a teacher of social sciences, I should develop a right attitude, be a good citizen, be a productive citizen of the country. So that attitude should come out. Attitude should be developed gradually. That is from the grassroots to till that. Attitudes will form in adult stage. So that attitudes can be changed only if the adult want to change it. But whereas in the learning process, you can develop right attitudes. So attitudes comes under this cognitive affective domain, then psychomotor domain. All the domains has to be given priority. Then only we can say that the integrated personality or all-rounded personality can be possible. Next question, sir. Is it clear, sir?
Explanation. Yes, it's clear, madam. Still, I have some ambiguity. We are in teaching side. We are in faculty. Day-to-day life, we are dealing with diversity of the students. Inculcating these 3 domains for the students, diversity of students. Is there any strategy? What are the strategy we have to play? Because we are dealing different type of students. That is reason we are conducting bridge courses, etc. at the initial stage of the entry in the college. My question is, what are the strategy for all these 3 or 4 categories of students? What are the strategies to inculcate these 3 domains?
Yeah, inculcating all these while we are teaching, we have to focus on all these 3 domains is one thing. Then there are differences of individuals. No individual is same to the other. Every individual is a unique. We know that. So that uniqueness is there. So if the students are categorized into different categories, maybe the students are with much high intelligence or average or below average. That is one category. Some are the deviant students are also there. That we can say that behavioralistic problems or emotional diversities are there. But in a classroom, as a teacher, it is we have to give the priority based on the needs of the students. For example, now we are saying that remedial teaching is one way. In the remedial teaching, what we are doing that we are selecting the students who are not able to follow that what we are teaching in the classroom. We have selected those students and we are giving the time to them and spending and then giving opportunity for them, then they will sit along with us. That is one-to-one peer tutoring is one method. That means you are giving the opportunity for the intelligent student and pairing with the backward student, then let them know the things. That is from the cognitive. When coming to this affective domain and affective domain, especially I'm coming to the attitudes, it is more particularly with the teachers. Teachers has to be a mentor. It's not a teacher. Teacher is a mentor. So mentor has to give his time. We must be in that way. So who are like that, be a counselor, be a guide, be a mentor. If we perform these roles, we can definitely meet the needs of the other students also. But I will tell you one thing, it is not just within the 45 minutes or 1 hour classrooms. We have to take the time that is beyond the class hours. We have to concentrate those students who will come to you. Then we can give them the way of teaching, like a guidance for them, how to meet those things. Appreciations, aspirations, it can't be possible within 1 hour. So that's what I want to tell you. This is affective domain, which cannot be evaluated. Can't evaluate as but we can evaluate only this. Even I want to make it a point here also. In objective based education, we can assess cognitive domain but come to this affective domain, it is not that much of easy to assess. Will you say that my attitude is good? How can you say that good or bad? Only when the situation comes, you can see the attitude. Maybe the student will appreciate, but really he is appreciating, the situation will tell us. So these things we can inculcate, but we can not assess. Accurate assessment can't be possible with the affective domain, but you can inculcate the values through our teachings that will help in the development of the person. Okay?
Okay, madam. Okay, madam. Thank you very much. One more question, madam.
Yes.
It's not a question, it's a discussion. Really, it is a very difficult subject to understand at this juncture. At what my personal opinion. Whatever they delivered, the difficulty. But what are the list of interventions and pedagogical interventions in OBE? What are the list of and how to overcome? Tell me in a nutshell.
Sir, there is no problem to overcome, sir. Overcome means if there is any problem to overcome. There is no problem to overcome because OBE is clearly stating that objective-based education. We should know very clearly what we want to deliver, what we are expecting from our students. If we are expecting this thing from our teaching, from our students, so naturally you can do it. There is, because behavioristic approach is one approach where you want to change the behavior of the individual. So with my teaching, if I want to bring a change in the behavior of my individual, this is one approach I'm saying. Through constructivism, I'm saying that. Then through social, that is learning, I'm saying. These three will help you to go and achieving your educational objectives. Giving experiential learning. What is experiential learning? Experiential learning is hands-on learning. Let them go to the field. Let them have the first-hand information. They will also learn this. So with that, they can be able to achieve the goals what we have written. Objectives are clearly written before we are going to handle. That's what we are saying, that in this objective basis, objectives has to be written before we are delivering. Then only we can expect that whether we achieved it or not. For example, sir, knowledge. What knowledge? Knowledge is nothing but what comes under knowledge. What? Simply what it is, where it is, when it is. It is comes under what? What questions you will give like that? What is the meaning? Where? When? So it is very simple. What questions he will say simply are, what is the meaning? Simply he will recall and he will give the answer. So that is the one objective. So that can be achieved with your questioning. So before you are delivering the lesson, you are doing that. My student will be able to recall or able to recognize that whatever I have teach. So this there, the methodology that what we are using here, whether it is a lecturing or lecture come demonstration or giving a problem or using any other problem solving method or a project method, these are all various methods or approaches or strategies or a questioning technique or mind mapping These will help you to achieve the objectives. It is not difficult, sir. If you keep on writing, you can be able to know that, because maybe you are directly came into with MSc. If you go through the field of education through B.Ed, you can know how to write the objectives, because taxonomy of education objectives clearly spelled out that what we want to get from our students after my teaching is over. If you put a question, then you can able to write the objectives, then you can achieve the objectives.
Madam, thank you very much. Really, it is wonderful, madam. I will interact with you through email or to telephone with your permission. Particularly while designing the curriculum, I have many doubts. But that time I will interact with you, madam, through email or by calling. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I leave, sir? Hello.
Madam, my name is Dr. Mohan Behera from PVKN College, Department of Botany.
Yes, sir.
Definitely, I will interact.
Sure.
Particularly whenever we are framing the syllabus curriculum.
So before you are framing the curriculum, you should spell out the objectives of the particular paper. Okay, yes. I will give some examples in the mail also. Because of the lack of time, I'm unable to give some examples regarding that also. Objective must be spelled out before you are writing the curriculum, because what you want to achieve, what you want to achieve from your students, that has to be spelled out before writing the curriculum. That we will see in the next slide. You can send a mail, sir, so that I can do it. Okay. Hello.
Things are seems to be very easy, but whenever we are work out on this aspect, we are really facing a lot of problem when sitting along with the board of studies members of different. So it is really difficult to keep all these objectives and putting on the paper, and the final draft is really difficulty. In that case, definitely I will take your help. We will take your help, madam.
Sure, sir. We will help you, because in our university also other departments people will say the same thing. You are unable to write the learning outcomes, because education people know very clearly, because that is in our syllabus. We had it now. Definitely will help you how to write that, sir.
Sir, Behera sir,
thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Personally once to our college, sir. Ma'am, you should visit our college once when we complete our writing our course outcomes. Please, you should share your time.
Do it. Okay.
The complete.
Thank you so much.
We will show you the blueprint of the curriculum, madam. Blueprint. Then only we will. Okay, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Hello, ma'am. Hello. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am. It's a very enriching sessions of yours. Thank you so much for that. And I have a question for you, ma'am. So I just want to clear up for myself. What is the role of schema in knowledge-based learning and skill-based learning, and how it influences outcome-based learning, ma'am?
Sir, knowledge-based learning and skill-based learning. There we are focusing on the overall development of the individual. The schemas we can see in this Piaget's theory of that is developmental stages. So the schemas is one aspect in receiving the knowledge. So knowledge is construction of knowledge, sir. So while you are constructing the knowledge, the experiences that what you are giving will help the student to construct his own knowledge, not just what you are saying. By his own experiences, he will construct the knowledge. That is a schema. Then skills, we are giving the opportunity to the child to use that. Whatever the opportunity you are giving the child, the skill is, for example, drawing a picture is a skill. Then you are asking the child to draw the picture and labeling the thing. So how it can be possible? By giving the opportunity to make the child to use that. That is finger dexterity, we will say that there. The development. So with the physical development and the mental development, the cognitive will go hand in hand. That's why I'm saying that. The mind, that is the thinking, the feeling, that is cognitive, cognitive, and the psychomotor to go hand in hand. Then only it can be possible.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thanks a lot. Such a lively session today.
Thank you.
I would like to summarize the just concluded session by Madam S. Vijaya Vardhini on pedagogical interventions in outcome-based education. She spoke
Outcome-based education.
she spoke on outcome-based education, and she also very passionately talked about the kind of interventions that are required to decrease violent or deviant behavior of students and to enhance student awareness on what is being taught. She also rightly pointed the aims and objectives of education, how they are delineated, how they are different from society to society. Each society is unique in its own way. So how objective-based education and the education objectives must be different from each, will be different from each society. And she also spoke about the learning outcomes, about how they are to be attained within the classroom teaching, the behavioral changes that are required in the students. And also she spoke about the objectives, outcome-based education, which must be student-centric. Both it must have a teaching and learning environment, and it must also have a goal orientation. Now, in the session, Madam, one must try to understand what she was trying to say in the concluding remarks, that you need not be just a teacher, you have to be a mentor. That reminds me of Paulo Freire's book, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, where you need to kind of simplify, as a teacher, you need to kind of simplify to your learners the ultimate message which you want to say to them. That was told to us today by Madam. And she also spoke about Bloom's taxonomy, the kind of 3 domains that rest within ourselves. Thank you, Madam. Really a wonderful and a lively session by you today. I would like also to thank all the participants, both offline and online, for kind of listening patiently and interacting with Madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. And my dear participants, both online and offline, I'd like you to join by 2:15 in the afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.